Many people in prison claim to be innocent, and sadly some of them are. Katie Klein joins us from the newsroom with a story about one such man.
Kate, it took a long time and a lot of work by Carolina students to get James Parker out of prison and his conviction overturned.
Out of everybody that lived in Union County, why did they pick me? I honestly and truly don't know.
James Parker spent 14 years in prison for crimes he didn't commit.
I kept telling myself, I said, yo, this situation is going to fix itself. But it didn't never fix itself. It didn't never fix itself. It stayed the same.
In 1991, a jury convicted him of molesting 4 children in Monroe, a town just outside of Charlotte. The judge sentenced him to 3 life terms plus 60 years.
But with every vein in my body, I was telling the truth when I was in that courthouse. I never touched no kids.
Parker mailed more than 150 letters proclaiming his innocence to people across the country. He heard back from the UNC Innocence Project.
Almost every case where an innocent man is freed, there's a huge element of luck.
The group's advisor, Richard Rosen, helps law and journalism students look for new evidence in cases when the inmate claims to be innocent.
We're not playing legal tricks here. We're not playing games. We're looking to see, is there a reasonable possibility that this person could be innocent? The files in Parker's case have been lost or discarded. It's likely he'd be in prison for the rest of his life.
In Parker's case, students re-interviewed many of the witnesses and the victims recanted their previous testimonies. He pled guilty to lesser charges in exchange for his freedom.
Hearing the feedback from your advisors, it's fascinating.
The Innocence Project president, Caroline Elliott, says the group allows students hands-on experience they don't get in the classroom.
And it can be heartbreaking when you say, this person's innocent, and our advisor will say, yeah, but there's nothing we can do.
But the students got one victory when it came to Parker.
If you get 1 out of 1,000, if you think about that person's life, if you think about somebody being in prison for life for a crime they didn't do, whatever effort is put in to find that needle in the haystack is worth it.
And Parker now lives in Brooklyn, where he's adapting to life pretty well. He says he takes things a day at a time. He gets a lot of support from his sister, who you saw in some of those photos, and other members of his family.
So, Katie, what requirements does the Innocence Project have when they're deciding who to help?
Well, Kate, obviously the person has to be claiming innocence. Also, he or she has to be incarcerated in North Carolina and have at least 3 or more years left on their sentence.
Katie Klein live in the newsroom. Thanks, Katie.
If you're heading to Franklin Street anytime soon, get ready for some changes. Pepper's Pizza is moving a few doors down to the old Miami Subs location. The building is being renovated, and the folks at Pepper's say they're ready to move in as soon as it's finished. And the pizza parlor isn't the only place on the move. Julian's is also changing locations. The men's clothing store has been a popular destination for belts, suits, and colorful ties for 65 years. Owner Missy Julian Fox says the move shouldn't worry customers.
So I would encourage or urge our fellow customers to not be so tied to the place as to the essence.
Fox says the new location is a secret for now. The current store will stay open until mid-February. Changes spread to UNC's campus as well, as one lovable spot receives a facelift. This trailer serves as a temporary home to the Daily Grind Espresso Cafe, normally located inside the student store. Work crews have been busy demolishing the old site to make way for a more spacious Java Junction. But it looks like the move hasn't interrupted these patrons' daily coffee cravings. The Daily Grind's new home is slated to open at the end of this semester.
Most of us need to copy and print to keep up with class assignments, and now we have to pay for it. But with the new printing system, students are using less paper and cutting down costs for the school. Joe Shuck of ITS says making students pay for copies in the computer labs has cut down the amount of printing.
Over the last 6 years, printing on this campus had increased between 20 and 25% annually. For this year to date, we are 10 million pages below where we were last year at this time. So it's a huge savings.
Students will get an additional 300 pages since ITS came short of last year's projected 43 million pages. That would have depleted the printing budget by $1 million. The human papillomavirus, or HPV, is one of the most common sexually transmitted diseases. At least 50% of sexually active young people contract a strain of the virus at some point during their lives. That's why Student Health Services is offering female students a new HPV vaccine called Gardasil. Gardasil protects against the 4 most dangerous strains of HPV that can lead to cervical cancer. Medical personnel give the shot in 3 different doses during a 6-month period. Junior Lydia Howard says that 3 shots are worth avoiding HPV.
I know people that have gotten the HPV virus. I know that it's more common than a lot of people think that it is, and I would definitely get the 3 shots.
If you want to get the vaccine, the 3 shots will cost you a total of, now hold your breath, nearly $450.
That's a lot of money, but I think it's definitely well worth the investment.
Definitely.
We now welcome weathercaster Jonathan O. Hi, Johnny O. How's it going?
It's all right. We've been busy over in the Weather Center because of all the advisories that have been popping up throughout the area.
Yeah, I feel like we've been going from one season, it felt like spring a couple of days ago, and now suddenly winter seems like it's hitting us hard. So you can tell us what's going on?
Well, it seems like that a new air mass is just coming through the area, a really cold one, and it's going to change things around a lot. And I have all the details in just a moment, but after an unseasonably warm weekend, winter has finally arrived. Will you have to dress up and bundle up like this young lady does? And will I use the 4-letter word, the S word, in my forecast? Stay tuned, details are coming up.